ask her, are we good?
Maybe we should just like have a. We should just lean into like she's over there by herself.
Here. Ready? I'm waiting for her. It's 6:30 on the City Council meeting agenda for Tuesday, August 8th, and we're calling into order. We're going to do an invocation and pledge of allegiance with Brian, Councilmember Brian. Oh, I'm sorry. Pray.
Would you bow your heads and pray with me, please?
Oh, that worked.
Father, thank you for bringing us all here tonight together to once again discuss what's best for our city. Be with us tonight as we make decisions that impact many, and keep us mindful that we are the stewards of what the resources that keep this town alive. Be with us as we go our separate ways tonight, and as we come back next week, and be with us as we all travel together. And it's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Okay. The audio is a little bit different for us, and I'm thankful that the audio is working. This is great. Rules of decorum is in effect, and the first item that we're going to just have is the proclamation for Mr. Judge Mark Russo. Whereas the City of McLendon-Chisholm, Texas, recognizes the Honorable Rockwall County Justice of the Peace, Mark Russo, and Court, honored as one of the first to be recognized as a Judicial Centers of Excellence in Texas by the Texas Judicial Council. And whereas the Centers of Excellence program is a judicial branch initiative led by the Texas Judicial Council focused on identifying and highlighting the outstanding work and judges and their staff across the state are doing in their communities and their courtrooms. And whereas Judge Russo was recognized for his outstanding and outgoing dedication to increasing access to the justice system for his constituents, his commitment to individualized justice, and his service to Rockwall County both in and out of the courtroom. As a judicial center of excellence, Judge Russo and his court joined 7 other district and county courts across the state who have been recognized for their service to the courts and their communities. As part of the collaboration, Judge Russo stands as a leader among the state's judiciary and justices of the peace and will continue to work with the council and the Office of Court Administration to further improve and advance in the goals of the program across the state. And whereas Mark Russo was born in the Constitution town, Louisville, Ohio, Mark is married to his wife, Nicole, and they have 2 boys. He was elected as Justice of the Peace in 2012 and previously served as Rockwall County City Council 2008 through 2012. Judge Russo also serves on various boards and commissions such as Rockwall County Bail Board, Chair of the Rockwall County Historical Commission, member of JPCA Legislative Committee, President-elect of North Texas Zone Chair of Lions International, 2021 through 2023, past president Toastmasters of Rockwall 2006, former board members Boys and Girls Club 2006 through 2007, 2019 through 2021, currently serving Republicans Men's Club Executive Committee, board member of Rockwall YMCA, and board member of Women in Need. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Pro Tem Adrian Balkum of McLendon-Chisholm, Texas, do hereby congratulate Judge Mark Russo on his honorable service and recognition of the Judicial Centers of Excellence by this Texas Judicial Council. In witness whereof, thank you so much, sir. And yeah, yeah, and I just. All right. Back on. Okay, so we have next citizen comments. Mr. Mike Olsher.
Okay, now you can hear me.
Yes.
My name is Mike Olsher. I live at 14893 South FM 548, Rockwall, Texas. And I'm here to talk about the property at 10689 State Highway 205, Rockwall County. I requested through the city, I requested the drainage detention pond information up to the city request line, and I haven't received any feedback from the city concerning that. I requested information on the drainage, calculations, the elevation, the water flow for that property that's being built. And I haven't heard anything back from the city, so I thought I'd come in and ask why. I thought it was through the policy of the city that within so many days I'd get the information, really. and I haven't received anything. The other item would be the Water Authority, or RCH. I've contacted them and left messages with them and never got anything back, no information back either. So that may be what's happening to a lot of people. They're just not getting any type of response from the Water Authority, RCH, and Ms. Green informed me that she's passed it on to Mr. Coker. Okay, but I haven't received anything back, and that's been at least a week. So those are my two complaints right now, and I apologize for talking so loud, but that's it.
Yeah, we have new audio, so it's booming for us. That's why I was a little bit started. But just to make sure I got this clear, you're referring to a different address.
Right, the property is on the crossroads of 205 and 548 is where they're putting the gas station up. Okay, so all this is the drainage, the water retention, and all this has been going on for over years now. Okay. That they're supposed to have all this planned out, and to me it still looks like a shamble, and that's why I asked, what has the city have, what has the city, how they're looking at it to ensure that the water is captured in the detention pond and controlled as it should be per state law.
Okay. I will follow up with you on Thursday, and then I'm assuming your phone number is on here.
It is correct too.
Okay, thank you.
It is correct too.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm missing one. Did you take it? Did you just take another? Oh, there it is. Okay, thank you. Ms. Trudy Wessner?
Trudy Wessner, 43 Fireside Drive. Hi, Council. I am just here to ask one question, and that is, when we get the notices from RCH about stage 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think we're at 5 now, I'm not sure. Are they letting you guys know, and especially you, Chief, and they're keeping contact with you guys and everything like that, and you guys have your plan on what you're supposed to be doing and stuff like that? I'm just, yeah, that's okay. I'm just curious to know that, yeah, but that's okay. I'm just curious to know that the communication is there with you guys. Okay, that's all I wanted to know. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Is that it? All right, I am closing public comments at 6:43. Next up is the consent agenda. Does anybody have any items that you may want to pull out or any concerns? Well, I would like to make note that I have a concern on one of the items for 6.2. If anybody would like to pull that one for discussion. We got to make a motion to pull that one.
I'll make a motion to pull that one, to pull 7.2. 6.2, sorry. 6.2.
Okay, is there any other concerns with 6.1, or do you want to leave it as is consent? I'm open for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda for 6.1.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, so back to, since we pulled out 6.2 for the discussion, I wanted to address the item for the minutes that is talking about for July 25th, the mention of life packs. The amount for 100,000 is incorrect. It should be 110,000. Would anybody approve to approve that item to be corrected in the minutes for July 25th?
I'm making a motion to correct the item of 6.2 with the correct amount of 110,000 versus the 100,000.
Thank you. Do I have all in favor?
Second. I second.
Yes. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Awesome. Thank you. Got that. Shelley, the correction? Okay. 7.1 is discussion and action regarding the possible purchase of new or used fire department tanker, tender, or pumper tanker. 3,000 gallons purchase of new pumper tanker with 3,000 gallon plus 1,500 gallons per minute pump. Could reduce fleet size by selling reserve engine E-2222 and brush truck B-222. The purchase would meet meeting requirements for ISO available water and NFPA standard for engine having capability of pumping 1,250 gallons per minute at structure fire. We have a staff report from Chief Simmons. Yes, thank you.
Council, see, I told you I don't need this. Again, are we good? Test. All right, here we go. I think we've got adjusted. So I was asked several weeks back, obviously with some of the water concerns that we have, and everybody, you know, is doing their part to see what we can do to remedy this, to bring some ideas of options of the department finally getting into the tanker tender, depending on what part of the country, and they're the same thing, a tanker tender truck. And so we put some numbers together and started looking at what it would take to buy at least a 3,000 gallon tanker truck to be able to have at our services at all time. Right now, we rely on other agencies. We've got great working relations with other agencies, but unfortunately at times they get busy, so we may or may not get one when we need it. So one of the scenarios or options that I was asked about was to present council what it would take to buy one. So in your packet there, you've got a bunch of information. If you start, I'll kind of build you up. You'll see on one of yours from Fenton Fire, it's an old 1999 tanker. Don't get scared yet. But it's a 1999 tanker. It's a 2,000 gallons of water. It's also 18,000 miles. And when I did this, because I want you to see what pricing would look like. Most departments, when they buy a tanker pumper or a tanker tender, they don't sell them. They stay around for many, many years to come until they just get to the point where they're wore out because they're very vital in the fire service, having an additional water source on wheels. So you can see there, this particular truck would cost us around $70,000. It's a used vehicle. We've gone down the used vehicle path. We had some great ones. We had one that was bad, so it's a roll of dice. As you keep going through your packet, you'll see one that says 2007 tanker on it. So if you look at that, this is now getting into a refurbished vehicle, anywhere from 2005 to 2015 model cabin chassis with a new tank and everything built on the back of it. That's going to cost you around $230,000 to $250,000 for a vehicle that's on a refurb cabin chassis, new, what we call working components, the pump and the tank. And these are just tankers. All they do is carry water. So starting to think about it and look at what would be the best option for the city and how we can use our money wisely, we started looking at the option of selling 2 of our older apparatus and replacing it with one. We currently have a tanker pumper that carries 1,250 gallons of water. We have a brush truck that carries about 300. It's a 2009. The tanker pumper is 2014. So we looked at what would be the best option. Now, we're talking about money, but I wanted to give you from bottom used up to where we spent $500,000 to buy a brand new tanker pumper. So we would get credit through ISO and NFPA for 2 vehicles in one, and that's what a tanker pumper does. It meets NFPA standard for an engine, and it also meets NFPA for a tanker, and plus we get the ISO credit for having 3,000 gallons of water here in the next year or so when we decide to go for our ISO regrade. That would help us out tremendously. So your packets there show you several options from $70,000 for used up to $500,000 for new. If we were to go the new route, we would sell those two apparatuses I mentioned in the staff report. We could get anywhere from $150,000 to $200,000 for both of them. So then that would take our $500,000 budget down to $300,000. In your packet there, I went ahead and decided to go ahead and get some numbers. I know a couple council members in the past, instead of spending cash money, let's look at financing. So what you see in front of you with capital government would be the scenarios, whether it's 500,000, 450, or 350,000. What it look like if you finance it 5 years, 7 years, or 10 years. So that's the quick down and dirty spill. Of course, I loaded you with lots of information there, but it was an option. It was asked to bring it to council. We brought it to council for you to look at it, think about what you feel would be the best course of action for us to move forward and look at it, maybe purchasing either a tanker or a tanker pumper.
So a quick question, Chief, about the apparatus to sell.
Yes, ma'am.
When would that start?
If council was to approve us to move forward, we would start that process effective immediately, but we wouldn't deliver until the new tanker pumper was to arrive. Similar scenario I've done with other agencies I'm with, where we sold apparatus, but then we kept them on a kind of a buyback, lease back until our new apparatus arrived. So, so a couple other things I missed. Purchasing new would reduce our fleet from 6 to 4. It would help reduce our vehicle maintenance budget because now we would have 2 frontline apparatus that are new within the past year or two. Our older vehicles is a 2017, and then our squad is a 2006, but it's been well maintained. It's in great shape. So, and it would also save us on the insurance costs for vehicles within the city. So that's a more of an advantage looking at the money side of it when it comes to purchasing new versus used.
So looking at the sheet, from top to bottom, your 550 is the 2022 vehicle.
So you're talking about this sheet here?
Yes, sir.
So this sheet here is what your finance options would look like.
The 550, 450, 350?
Just so council would see that if we spent $550,000 and financed all of it, this is what our annual payment would look like. That annual payment starts a year from the signing of a contract with this company. And it could be any company. This is just one that I've dealt with in the past. So I called them up and asked them to give us numbers, financial numbers, to see what it looked like for 5, 7, and 10-year payoffs.
It's not with that first company, right?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Just
It's a
wanna
different
make sure.
company. No, it's a different company.
All right. Conrad, did you have any questions for Chief about this that you want to share with us from your staff, budget-wise?
No.
We have got to adjust all that.
No, this is, actually, I asked them to do it because council, we could barely pick you up for the minutes. And so he made it so they can pick you up further away from the mic and still hear it. So if you get up close, that's what happens.
We're feeling it. Let me tell you, we're feeling it.
He was just trying to show you that's what it is.
So this could be included within the budget process if you wanted. We would show that we'd pull money. I mean, as he has explained, with any direction that the city council may have, or how you'd like to do it. If you want to proceed forward, we can include it, and you can discuss it. Next city council meeting, we'll have a big budget discussion. You can talk about it then, and all the way up to, we hope to have our budget finalized by September 12th. So we could include it in there, or you could do it as a separate item, just on its own, like you did the life packs last time.
So I got off track. So the picture you see, there's packet here, would be the identical vehicle that we purchased new. This is what we call a tanker pumper.
Okay.
This vehicle would look identical to our frontline engine that the council gave us 2 years ago, year and a half ago. It would look identical to that. It's a 3,000-gallon tank, has a 1,500 GPM and FPA-approved pump, so that's where we get the credit for 2 apparatus in one.
Yeah, that's a good.
Wish I had more to show, citizens there, but,
Yeah.
it's been a while. Come on now.
No, it's
I
good.
like that.
It's good that we're actually having that conversation because we should have our own.
Well,
you know,
and not blaming anybody or any entity or anything. This is something, I look at everything we've got going on with the water. I look at the public safety, public health side of it. I want people to brush their teeth, flush toilets, take baths. I want to have fire water when we have when we have a house fire. We have, in this time of year now, we're under a burn ban that went into effect today. If we have those wildland fires that we do have here, I want to have that water. And so instead of relying, and again, we have great working relationships with all agencies around. They come out, help us on many occasions, but not having to worry about counting on everybody else. This would be a great opportunity for us to get reduced fleet, save some money, but also get 2 vehicles for 1.
I'll open up to other council members. Do you have anything you would like to ask Chief?
Be careful.
Step back here. I already know the answer to the question, but I just want to get the dialogue out. I guess from what I'm understanding is you feel like going down 2 apparatus, bringing this one on, we still have the 1 brush truck, so we'd be covered there. We'd still have the 1 engine, which I'm assuming is that the one that holds the 1,000 gallons of water?
Correct, yes, sir.
Okay, and then, so then this would bring in the 3,000 extra gallons. And I feel that the answer is that we would look at new versus bringing in used, reduce the fleet, reduce the cost, sell out, bring the cost totally down, and new is the way to go.
You say it better than I do, but yes, sir. Nothing against used, but now we would have 4,000 gallons of water on wheels at our disposal with the staffing model we have, and with the staffing model we hope to get in October. We would now have the staffing to be able to run this tanker as needed, along with our engine.
We're on the same page then. I just wanted to make sure that I knew you were really wanting new. I know
Yes,
you
sir.
presented used, so I just want to make sure that new is really what we're asking for. And I know that's what I'd be in favor for, because I've always said you buy a $3,000 car, you buy $10,000 problems.
Yes, sir. And the conversation started, what would it look like to buy something used, because we were trying to get something kind of a little bit quicker than later.
Right.
But the reality is, it's, if we were to go this new route, we would have this new apparatus by first of spring, if not earlier. So we would have this in play for next summer. We know with everything we've got going on, we've got a couple years to get all the kinks worked out and help fix all the problems that we have. This would be in play by next summer.
Right on. All right, appreciate it. Thanks,
Yes,
Chief.
sir.
Is there any other discussion?
Somebody has to have 1 or 2. Mr. McLendon, you're a man of many little words.
Okay, I will open up for a motion.
I make a motion that we grant the chief the go ahead and direct staff to make sure that we get him on board with going forward with making sure we get the new vehicle plans, and then present us back something with a budget. Would be how I'd want that motion to be submitted, if that's okay, so we know exactly what we're spending.
So you were liking to give a direction to staff?
Right, I support the motion, but we can't, I don't want to make a motion on a monetary amount I don't know yet.
Okay.
So I would ask staff to at least get with the chief, get the chief online with which one we're going to buy, know what we can sell for, to vote or ask a motion for an amount that I don't know about.
Okay, so let me ask, will you
Let me
consider?
see what he's.
What you can do, if you want to that purpose, you can ask the chief what is the most you want to spend. You can say make motion to approve the amount.
X, Y, Z.
Not to exceed that number.
Same thing we do with the life packs then.
The goal
Okay.
is not to spend, so based on what I know sitting there now in queue, it's going to be just under 500,000 to purchase this new,
Okay.
completely rigged out with everything.
Okay. I'd like to amend my motion then to make a motion to approve 7.1 for the chief to be able to seek out purchase of a tanker not to exceed 500,000.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I have a question.
No, it's a,
Let's, yeah, we want to make a motion to amend it before we discussion. $500,000.
yeah.
So my concern is 500,000, we go over 500,000, right? Because what you, on the tanker that we may be purchasing at the top, you put this truck would be 500,000.
Correct. So based on phone calls today, with this particular vendor,
Right.
that truck's going to come in around the $480,000 mark. So I was saying 500,000 because you know, just in case you don't have an adjustment here, we need to add something to it.
Right, that's my concern.
So that's why I said 500,000. The goal is obviously to come in as much cheaper as possible. Right.
And just note, it, exactly, and he'll have to come back.
I'd have to come back.
Well, that's my concern, right? So it's like we want the tanker, and it's $500,000. So if we, you know, at that point, 20,000 to 50,000 is considered pennies, right? So the intent, the way I'm looking at it is, we should not have to come back to the table if it's 510,000, right? Let's say something happened, inflation rises tomorrow, and then all of a sudden your tanker is $515,000. Now you have to come back to the table. So,
Correct.
my concern is 500 is too low of a cap. Like maybe we should go up to 550.
okay, well, you can ask him to amend his motion or just,
Sorry.
hey, I'm,
We have a motion, we have a second, and then, we have a vote, okay? Motion
Right.
second. I just let nobody know in favor of it, and then we can go back and have a vote.
okay, that's what I was going for.
Call for a vote, we vote for it.
All right, so what is the vote right now? You wanted to vote for?
Nobody's going to vote. What we're being directed to do.
No, you're saying vote against the motion, the current motion.
Nobody
Motion
votes.
was to approve it, not to exceed 500. Nobody, doesn't sound like anybody wants to support that. Mayor Pro Tem, just go. Anybody in favor of it? Everybody just doesn't say anything.
Stay silent.
Anybody in favor of this motion? Okay. Anyone else would like to make a motion? Anybody else would like to?
I will amend the motion for a third time, and we'll bump that. And we'll bump 7.1 to approve the motion at a $550,000 cap for the chief to be able to seek out the tanker truck, not to exceed 550,000.
And I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
I will, counsel, I can tell you, I thank you, and I can tell you, the troops thank you, and hopefully the citizens will too, and they're not beating me up behind my back right now because we're spending a little money. But we're gonna sell some to save some money.
Well, we'll
Thank
see.
you.
We'll see you return during budget. All right. Thank you. Thank you for your service. Okay, so we're on 7.2, discussion and action to send an official letter to request to become a direct customer with North Texas Municipal Water District. I'm opening up to discussion. Or should I get, actually, let me get staff to, since I'm the chair, and when I talk about it. You have the staff talk about the item 7.2.
Sure. As the city procures to become a direct customer with North Texas, one of the things that we need to do, one major thing that we need to do is we need to connect onto their main line, somewhere on their main line. We had Mayor Pro Tem Balkum and myself talk to to the leadership down in North Texas not too long ago, and we asked if there's an official application that we would have to fill out to become a direct customer, and move that process along so we can move down the street a little bit. We weren't ready, obviously, right now to become a direct customer, but to get the process going. They mentioned to us that there is not a specific formal application process, but we needed to send them a letter requesting the ability to be a direct customer on their water system. And so this letter is in response to that. Subsequently, they said, well, we'd love you to include certain items that have been included within the letter, answer certain things, but this is just their formal / informal way to get the process started. And so now they know, upon receipt of this letter, that the city of McLendon-Chisholm is actively seeking to become a direct customer, and they will work with us in moving that ball down the court into the future.
And then also remind council that on March 28th, City Council approved the initial letters to let North Texas know the city's intent to become a direct customer with North Texas Water District. That started approved March 28th, and the letters went out in April. So now this is like the next step of the process. And when you come, there's going to be another time to present the actual items, like, maps and, delivery point locations. You have to seek approval from that process. So there's going to be more communication coming through to North Texas. So.
Go ahead, sir. Okay, I'm glad you pointed out the letters in March. Quite a bit's changed since March. I did read this letter. I do have quite a few concerns on the letter.
Sure.
Because before I ask my mayor to sign a letter, I would just like to make sure it's factual all the way through. Some of the things that we have in here are that it's not operational, no one's there to do repair and maintenance, there's nobody there to do business and functioning. But from what I understand, bills are going out on 9/1. So there is some sort of billing going on. There are operations. Aqua Texas, from what I understand, has been working well with RCH. There's a compliance team in place. One of the other things in this letter, we mentioned our plan. I'm on council and I haven't seen a plan. I'm on council, I haven't been a part of a meeting. I'm on council and I haven't heard anything. I also want to know who our engineers are. Did the engineer look at something? Because from what I understand, we have a contract, but I don't think our engineers have checked anything on this yet. So I would like to know what our plan is as a city to increase water from 2.1 to, let's just say, 3.1. Because I feel what we've been doing is passing a lot of blame or playing city and not being city. So I want to read my statement, which I did include to Shelley for the minutes. So RCH has been working with a company called Aqua. So far, from my understanding, Aqua has fixed many of the issues that McLendon-Chisholm was concerned with, as well as taking up operations and doing what they can to help the current situation, which is getting water to our residents that currently live in the city. My concerns are quite a few. For one, we have Adrienne Balkum working on our water issues. When she was on council back in 2017, she also helped vote for certain plats, certain developments. With that one concern for water then, and her continued votes for yes on developments now are still not solving any of the water issues, and that's alarming to me. I have some questions on this letter. For one, we state RCH has no administrative function or able to carry out operations. Before I, as a council member, will vote yes on that, I would like to see proof of that, because my understanding is RCH is working with Aqua Texas on many of these concerns. We have here in this letter, for instance, Aqua Texas has assumed billing and operations. They have bills set to go out in a few weeks and are working with RCH to make sure possible late fees are waived and plans are in place to help customers for the back billing. There's a compliance team in place that is assisting in the functions and operations of water that we get from Rockwall at 2.1 million gallons a day. What I have continued to see in the last year is that we as a city are very busy in pointing a blame versus really solving any problems. That concerns me, as I am also a part of this council. And I apologize that I didn't do a better diligence to help you with water. I will take accountability. A committee was set up and put in place to work with RCH, and Adrian Balkum again was a part of this. Maybe it's based on her being a blogger or able to do great research, but my alarm bells keep going off here because the one common factor in all this is our Mayor Pro Tem. She is the one in all these meetings, but she is not updating council. She's having conversations that should have us briefed on, and quite certainly we as a council should be briefed prior to the town hall meeting that we were unable to attend because it was not posted correctly or in time. So I look at this letter that we speak of a plan. What's the plan? I've not seen a plan. I've not discussed a plan or have been privy to anything with the plan. Again, Adrian Balkum has been, so I assume this is her plan. Who are the engineers? Because I was unaware we had one to look at this water situation. If we're about to vote on a letter and have our mayor sign it to become something with North Texas Municipal Water District, then show me this plan first. And if this is the only plan, and we'll just call it Plan E, then what was wrong with Plan A, B, C, or D? And again, how come we as council did not see any of these ideals or plans? Or more importantly, why did we not have input? One of the main questions I also have is, did Adrian Balkum meet with Blackland? What was discussed? Did Adrian Balkum meet with High Point? What was discussed there? In any of these meetings, did Adrian Balkum advise Blackland or High Point to not work with RCH as McLendon-Chisholm is looking to take over operations? Did she mention something about an interconnect that might have given us some relief? I feel that her ambitions and ego are getting ahead of her, and we are not putting the constituents first. And again, I apologize, because that we are better off. We are no better off in 2023 than we were in 2022, and I'm alarmed if we'll even be prepared for 2024. So to me, asking Adrian to step down and not hold any more movement and direction on water from McLendon-Chisholm might be a better vote than this letter. And what is the cost for us to get in the water business? Has that been addressed and brought to council? I mean, this has to be in the millions to be able to do this. We'll just say 15 million. We have to bring on staff and so much more. Does the city have engineering right-of-way acquisition on staff who could take point on this project? Did we as a council at any given time give our Mayor Pro Tem the authority to speak to Blackland and advise them on anything with an interconnect with RCH? I almost wonder if Adrian Balkum has put the city of McLendon-Chisholm in any legal peril by running interference on the ability for our RCH to do its duties. Because no matter if we like it or not, RCH is still the water company we deal with. I would think it would be in our best interest to work with them versus against them. And so will our citizens have to bear the cost so we can be in the water game? And what is worse, they're going to be the ones having to pay for the solution that we bring to the table. RCH now has a fair market value, so that means we would have to pay as a city to buy RCH. Again, a cost our constituents will have to pay for. So before I say yes on this letter, all I'm asking is to show me the plan. Show me what the cost of the plan is. Show me what I'm going to have to look at my citizens of McLendon-Chisholm and ask them to be ready for in their taxes. Adrian Balkum, you can explain us to this and the citizens because you've met with them, you've had discussions, you've had resolutions and outcomes, and again, this seems to be your plan. When public safety is at risk and water, meaning our fire department, our citizens want to know we have that covered. Our citizens, I think at this point, are not worried about the blame game anymore. They just want to go to the faucet and get water. So if these concerns can be answered and proven, then I will vote yes. Until then, I don't think we're ready to be in the water game.
Are you finished?
Hold on. All right, so we're going to pull this back. We're going to right now, we're going to focus on 7.2, which is discussion and action to send an official letter to request to become a direct customer with North Texas Municipal Water District. So at this time, that is all that we're going to discuss. If there's anything else that needs to be discussed, we'll put it on the agenda and bring it back to the table. Is that clear? All right. Now, we can go through this letter by paragraph, and if you have an issue, if any of us have an issue with each paragraph, then we will address that paragraph and that paragraph only. Okay? You good with that? All right. So, first paragraph, we desire the right to provide water service to the city limits and extraterritorial jurisdiction of McLendon-Chisholm. McLendon-Chisholm is complying with the provisions of Chapter 13 of the Texas Water Code as applicable and to the corresponding Texas Public Utility Commission's regulations. So do we have any comments or questions about the first paragraph? Okay. RCH Water Supply Corporation no longer has any administrative employee, officer, or agent to carry out its day-to-day operations and business affairs, including but not limited to repair and maintenance of its system, water meter reading, or water billing, and this has negatively impacted its ability to provide water service to the area and customers served by RCH. So do we have any comments or questions about this particular paragraph?
I'm going to address that part. There has been 2 verbal agreements. One originally was with Blackland Water Supply Corporation, which ended on June 8th. They actually posted it in their minutes to make it official, I suppose. And then after, they ended up making another post on July 27th, if I'm correct. And also the Cash SUD, also another verbal agreement, also ended on Monday ago. And then there's another agreement, which, by the way, no one has seen, allegedly with Aqua Texas, and there's still no billing. There's still no items being addressed as far as operations is concerned. So yes, that is factual. There's no agreement that has ever been seen by the city of McLendon-Chisholm or any member of RCH.
I'm sorry, but is McLendon-Chisholm in the water business? But
Have you met with Aqua Texas?
I have spoken with Aqua Texas.
Really?
Yes.
When did you do that?
Okay. I spoke with them last week.
You spoke with them last week. Okay.
Prior to you meeting with them on Friday. And I did advise the mayor that I did so.
You're not on the water committee.
I advised the mayor what I was doing. And I'm an elected
You
official.
advised them, no.
So,
No, you
first
don't
of
seem
all,
to
we're
understand.
talking about the letter.
Did you see an agreement? Did you see an agreement?
Hey, pull this back.
You didn't see an agreement, so that is
Mayor Pro
factual.
Tem, pull it back. Councilman McNeil.
I'm
pull it
good.
back. So here's the question. Aquatech has, when you met with them, did Aquatech show you in writing what you're stating, and has that been submitted to us as council?
As I've said, they haven't sent me anything in writing, but at the same time, and I could be wrong, I'm okay with being corrected. I don't know if they have to submit something to the city.
No,
If
they don't. They would have to
Exactly.
put it
So
on the
they don't
board,
have
but
to.
you were claiming that there's like some sort of agreement, yet there's no agreement.
I never
It's
said
another
there was
verbal
the word
agreement, just
never
like
came.
Blackland, just like Cassius UD.
Fortunately, I wrote everything down and I read it verbatim, and I don't think I said the word agreement. So make sure if you're going to quote me, quote it correct. 'Cause
I am
did read
stating it
verbatim.
correctly. There is no agreement that I have seen or RCH members has never been on the
But
RCH
they
board
don't-
meeting either.
You don't have to see the agreement. They don't
there
have
is-
an agreement. The agreement is with RCH.
I'm not
and
going to argue
Aqua
with you
Texas.
about this. Let's go
I'm
back
not
to the
arguing
writing.
either.
Yes, you
It's a
are.
no, I'm not.
Yes,
It's a
you are.
common sense. It's because, Adrian, you were a failure in 2017 and 18, and you're bringing the same type of politics to the table right now. If it's not your way, it's no one's way. And that's not how it
alright.
works. This is an equal council.
Hey, bring it back.
You're not the overall seer of this.
RCH Water Supply Corporation no longer has any administrative employee, officer, or agent to carry out its day-to-day operations and business affairs, including but not limited to repair and maintenance of its systems. Is this correct?
Correct.
Okay. Do you disagree with that?
I disagree. I just saw people reading our meters. So you have someone telling me that there was an imaginary person reading our meters now?
We have people that have not had their readers now read.
Do you have that in writing?
Yes,
Show me
I
in
have
writing.
people.
Show me.
Okay,
Show me. I
Yes.
mean, if you say you have
we'll
it,
get
have
to
it.
that. So who did you see reading the meters?
The meter people. I sat in my office.
RCH? Who was it?
I'm going to
Aquatech?
assume
Who
it was RCH because Aquatech Texas is not the one reading the meters.
Okay, well,
RCH meter.
We're not dealing with assumptions here. All right, so
I'm not stating an assumption. I'm telling you what I saw.
you just said you assumed who they were. Did you engage them and ask them
I
exactly who
did
they
not
were?
ask them who they were, but I
Okay,
can tell you someone read
moving
my
on to the next paragraph.
Okay. McLendon-Chisholm will be able to accomplish a public purpose, and it's in the best interest of McLendon-Chisholm, its citizens and RCH customers to provide continuous and adequate service to consumers. Our plan is to make immediate operational management improvements to the pumping station, provide a meter reader solution, and implement billing administration with quality consumer service. In addition to accounting services, our city council will consider combining the water, wastewater, and solid waste management services on a single billing segment.
So Infomark is our waste service provider, and we have a flat rate in Sonoma Verde. That rate will be reduced to consumption. A few council meetings ago, we have approved for CWD to renegotiate their 5-year contract so that we will remove the actual billing portion and administration for that, and it's just going to be focused on trash, so the price of that is going to be reduced, and we're going to shift the accounting over to Infomark. And also, once we have water, they have Class A operators, which also they have presented themselves at council, at a past council meeting when they were here. And so they are normally in the water and wastewater business. And so they can, this is not something new to them. They have about 30-person crew. They have a 40-person call center that can be able to take the call volume. In the very beginning of these stages, this is going to be very critical because the type of worker that would have to work in a public works department, number one, we would have to have 2 because it's over 2,500 connections, and it would be cost effective to use this contract agreement because it will be very difficult to find the type of person that can be able to do this one-man shop right at the beginning. And right now, there's so much activity that needs to be from the mappings, from locating the lines and making sure everything is working properly at the station, as well as there's going to have to be an improvement of SCADA system, and also a transfer of all the meters to be manually read, not manually read, to be AMR readers, because we do not want to have any more of the manual reading taking place. That will reduce the reduction of labor to actually go out there and actually read the meters physically. And it will also reduce the human error factor as well.
So do we know, like once we take it over and transition it from Mark, do we know, like, how long it would take for them to do that?
Which part? The meter solution?
Yeah.
The meter solution, it will take some time because number one, we have to identify, that we have to replace them, okay? And so I would say, from what I understand and what they told us, it's going to be a 4-month period, but that's standard. And plus the other issue too, is that we need to confirm the actual amount of meters that need to be replaced. And so the inventory may be a concern, but you have to order those out anyway. So we will, by the time that happens, we will already have the inventory in place to actually implement.
Okay. Any other comments or questions about this particular paragraph? Okay. We will work with our engineers to address infrastructure improvements once we are granted by the Public Utility Commission to confirm we will be allowed to service the area requested.
Okay, so the we have to get the Public Utility Commission is who has the area to serve. Okay, so it's basically a 2-part process is what we started. And so through that, we have to go through submitting information to them. And it's a 20-page document with 34 questions that requires mapping, it requires financials, it requires the amount of data that we have to show what this area that we're trying to serve. And so we've been working on that, and I'd be happy to show anybody where we're at and all that, but we're very close to the end of that process. And so when we submit the information to them, we have to print 7 copies of everything, shape files of maps and stuff like that. We have to do an amended map. Then there's a waiting period to have the committee to review, does it have merit? And then at that point, we are going to get assigned whether it has merit. Then that means that we would have to get a specific notification process to let the people know, okay, we're going to go through the state of administration hearing and get assigned it's kind of it's called AJL. It's like a judge that will be assigned to it. and then we'll get on a docket. So all the parties will be notified, including RCH, and to show up on a certain date. Now, if it doesn't have merit, but they don't use that terminology, we will be able to know what is missing or what needs to be updated or some sort of information. So we will be notified within 30 days at that point, and then we return back with that information. So does that make sense? And then if we go through the SOAH, they are going to, and everything goes well and positively, then at that point, we get assigned a third-party assessment. It's not in favor of either party. It's a complete third-party entity who will determine the actual cost of the entire system. And then we go to a Texas District Court, because the Texas District Court is who actually does the actual property, any type of assets, that kind of thing. And so it's either going to be a Texas District Court or a Travis County. And then at that point, a judgment is ruled, and then whatever that amount is that they have assigned for, I don't know who's messaging me, but stop. It's like the judge is going to tell us that's the amount of money that we have to put into the escrow. Then we put the money into the escrow account, and then that's pretty much the procedure there. And then we get, I don't want to say the keys, but basically we'll be assigned. And then RCH, or the entity, whoever it is at that point, is going to be told that everything's to be transferred over.
Okay.
So that's kind of like the nutshell of that process.
Yeah. Our engineers currently are working on proposing to the McLendon-Chisholm City Council delivery point options to consider and to propose connecting to the NTMWD southern line. Upon City Council approval, items such as the following requirements: a preliminary plan showing the proposal location for the new delivery point, request for additional volume per the NTMWD specifications, build out worksheets, tabular forms of projections of anticipated growth, zoning information, expected demand, map of the water distribution system, engineering study, etc. will be submitted.
Okay, so let me jump in here a bit. Okay, so when we got done with our meeting with North Texas Municipal Water District, it's not an application. This is like the executive team that handles any type of municipal relationship. It's in the name. They work with municipalities. They want to work with municipalities. We're not going to be a direct member. It's going to be we're going to be a direct customer. Total different. Members have seats at the table. This will be an entire different system that we're on. It's going to be Tawakoni. It's going to be at the Tawakoni plant. That's where the water is going to be coming from. So, anyway, that's the southern line. So, the engineers that we are working with is TMP. Okay, and we have to determine the city council is going to have to determine like the actual delivery point, and then that's going to be presented eventually to North Texas. But there's a bunch of like things that needs to be included in this information. We are telling them based on the information that we received from North Texas, saying that you have to provide us preliminary plans, and they're asking for the proposal location. They're asking for what is the volume, because obviously 2.1 is not enough. We're going to have to ask for more, and then are you planning to put storage? And so all these different items are going to be requested of us, and it's like kind of like a workflow chart is the best way to describe it. And it talks about 5-year, 10-year, 15-year, all the way to like 25 years, and it's just it's kind of like a performance over the years, and that's going to be including the growth of the population and stuff like that. What we're expecting McLendon-Chisholm will have at that time. And so there's zoning information that we have to apply in this letter, or it's not just a letter, it's like it's going to be a packet of information that they're going to get. And so when we start going to North Texas, it's going to be a team of us, including Conrad and also myself and our engineers. It's going to be a big, huge meeting that happens, and there's going to be more communication each time. So this is not like we just fill out this letter and then it's done. No, this is the beginning of this process.
I do have a question, since it's open for discussion on the paragraphs. So we are saying TMP is the engineers. Have they looked at any of this system yet? Are we just assuming they're ready to go? Because it seems like when I read this letter, these engineers have got this plan and have seen everything, have they
This
been
is
to
about,
RCH?
this is about the delivery point.
I'm just asking,
This is
if
about-
it says engineers, and it says right here that our engineers, so I'm just asking, our engineers currently are working on proposing the McLendon-Chisholm delivery point. I want to know, have the engineers seen anything with the system? Have they been to RCH and looked at the system, the pumps, the water tower, a water faucet even?
This is about
I
the
understand.
delivery
So
point.
again, my same question, I can repeat it, or you can answer it, or we can talk around it. I'm just asking,
If you're
have our
wanting to
engineer,
know,
have our
hang on, I'm
engineers have
talking,
looked at it?
I'm talking.
But you haven't answered my
I'm
question.
going to answer your question, just give me a second.
It's yes or no.
RCH held the board meeting in April.
That's
At
not
that
an answer to
meeting,
my question.
they approved for our city engineers, for our city to be able to inspect the system. Our city administrator contacted them. When can we be able to do that? No response.
Again, just asking, I'm not asking about all that. Have our engineers
I just
look at
gave you
system?
the answer. They were not able to look at the RCH
So
system.
the answer is no.
But this, the
It doesn't
information,
matter how we got to the answer. The answer is still no, right?
Mr. McNeil, the information that is on this letter is about the delivery point. It is about the delivery point. This is a letter to North Texas Municipal Water District.
Okay, and I'm asking the simple question. It's yes or no. Have our engineers looked at anything at RCH?
Okay, the answer is no,
Thank you.
right, because they haven't been permitted to, right? In addition to that, we expect to provide adequate storage for receiving additional water at the delivery point.
Yes.
We will provide data, calculations that we have adequate ground storage at the NTMWD delivery point site to meet maximum power demand versus maximum day demand recommendations. Also, we will provide adequate land area for construction of a metering station point and/or on the new delivery site.
Yes, so this is going to be an executive session item because it's dealing with real estate. We have a TNP representative that's going to be presenting some items this evening. This is just to get the ball rolling on that. So this letter is supposed to go to North Texas to let them know like we're getting started on this, you know. And so it's going to take some time. And again, there's an approval process with the city council to decide which way they want to go as far as the delivery point is located at for the southern line.
Okay. We are excited to work with you and NTMWD Planning Department to assist us to meet requirements. Yes, we are.
Yes, I'm sure
All right.
everybody wants more water.
All right. Okay. Any other questions or concerns for this particular letter before we move to in action?
I just still, we haven't seen a plan. We as council have not seen a plan.
Based off of this letter, the delivery point options?
The delivery point options, yes, I'm seeing that in this particular letter. But we also are talking about our plan, this plan. I have not seen one plan. And you're asking me to say yes. At any point in this game, I cannot say yes without seeing a plan. It just makes no sense to me. You know,
And you have,
to me, it doesn't make sense. It
And
may make sense to you, may make sense
you
to
have
everyone
the
else.
right to
But for me,
take this.
I can't say yes to anything without a plan. I mean, I just cart horse maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. And it sounds like with all the great vocabulary of words there, it still seems like the timeline is long and we have still no relief in sight. So I'm now going to push my time of 2024 out to hopefully in 2025, we don't have a water crisis. Maybe I should get a well.
Councilmember McNeil, just let me remind you that, first off, let's just say it's a happy story that we can be able to acquire land within a year, okay? Second thing is to be able to put down a pipe construction could take possibly 2 years construction, and that's in a happy world, okay?
And how much money? Like, I mean, where, So I've got to, I mean, there's just a
Well,
lot
I'm
here.
I'm glad you're
There's a
asking
lot
that,
here.
because there's options for us, and we're gonna be discussing all that during
I
budget.
can't wait to hear these options.
Yeah.
Because we've not
Because it's
heard.
not, because yes, we've talked about it. We've talked about these things before.
Okay, all right. So I'm gonna make a motion to send an official letter to request to become direct customer with North Texas Municipal Water District.
And I'm going to second that.
All right,
All in favor?
Aye.
aye. We need an answer.
Aye. Who's not in favor?
I'm a no.
Motion carries. All right. Okay, we are going to move into executive session. Oh, hang on. Did you just have something to say? Did you have something to say? I'm sorry, I thought you waved at me. Okay. Okay. All right, we're going to go into executive session for 8.1, adjourn into executive session, close meeting in accordance with Texas Government Code Section 551.072, deliberations regarding real property discussed and considered with Teague, Nall and Perkins, the city's engineer for the North Texas Municipal Water District Delivery Point Project, and the most effective and cost-conscious manner to reach same at, we are going to executive session at 7:36.
Folks, we're just waiting on one. I apologize, I wasn't here for the beginning. Rather than say this later in the evening when we have our comments, guys, for the love of God, I know it's summertime, it's hot, we get frustrated, we get irritable. Show grace to each other. The reason I was late is we had 3 back-to-back wrecks on 80. If any of you've driven 80 in the afternoon, you know what that's like. We had 3 back-to-back wrecks and 2 ladies that didn't like each other because they were frustrated standing in line at Valero and started a fist fight. So, I know it's hot. I know traffic sucks. Be careful. Be patient. It works out better that way every time. So, that's why I was late.
Oh, shoot, I left mine.
What'd you leave in there?
Oh, it's fine. I'll do it. No, it's fine.
Oh.
I was looking for my pen.
Oh, okay. All right. It's 8:32. We're back from executive session. No action taken during executive session. So we'll move back to 7.3. Obviously, I wasn't here when it started, so I'll turn it over to you for what we're doing with 7.3.
TMP, we would like you to come up to the mic, please.
Good evening. My name is Michael DeMont. Pleasure to be here tonight. Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the council and staff. I am an engineer with TMP, and we are delighted to serve the city and citizens with helping you find your way forward with looking for means of making a direct connection to North Texas Municipal Water District. We have a lot of experience working with those types of connections and working with North Texas Municipal Water District. And so as directed by city staff and council, we'd be pleased to assist you with exploring options for direct connections to North Texas Municipal Water District, doing the work to understand what your needs are long-term, and so we can provide you the data and information that you need to negotiate any potential connections with North Texas. So we've a lot of work to do. We haven't done a lot yet. We've got a contract in place, and with your direction, we'll move forward with doing that work to get you the information you need for those connections. So at this point, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
I didn't have any questions.
I'm good, thank you, sir.
Then on behalf of council and city staff, we would like you to move forward with planning and civil rights.
Yes, sir. Will do.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And thank you for your time. 7.4, discuss opportunity to submit resolutions to TML Legislative Committee for consideration at the annual meeting in October of 2023. I'll turn that over to Ms. Balkum. This is actually a pretty cool thing, guys, when it comes to government and doing things from our level of the city on up to different aspects of state level things. So.
Okay, so originally I was going to present some potential resolutions for the city council to consider, but I decided to go ahead and make it an opportunity for all of city council to be aware of this opportunity, and that you can actually present resolutions that you would like to be considered for TML to advocate for, or potentially to be reviewed or to consider for a potential bill for our state legislators to, whenever they go into session, they'll be able to either put it in action or maybe make some adjustments and all that. But anyway, but before that happens, the city council has to approve that particular resolution, and then it will be presented to the business committee at the October TML conference, and then we can actually be there and hope in support of that resolution. So if you're not familiar with resolutions, I mean, I could get with you, or staff could show you how to do that, but we definitely have documentation about that, so if you want to consider doing that. The only caveat to this is that we have to have it all submitted by August 21st, 2023 by 5 p.m., which means that we have to come into another council meeting, which will probably be a special meeting. If y'all are interested in doing that, I would like to propose us to have a meeting and to present resolutions. And that doesn't mean necessarily has to be one, or it could be multiple resolutions, but they all have to be separated and the city council has to pass that resolution. Any questions?
Do we have current resolutions, like, already that we want to submit?
No, I decided to start fresh.
No, we're looking for input from each and every council member. If there's something you want to put out there that we can present to TML, and basically they can put out there the same thing.
Okay.
Is anyone interested that they would like to do any type of resolutions?
Brian? Floyd?
You're not interested? Okay.
I'm gonna get with you because I think there's a couple of things that we probably all collectively think about. It's just figuring out the right way to craft it into a resolution. And folks, when we're talking about this, it's looking at how to craft the right things to present to them to take to the state level. Obviously, what is the biggest issue that all of us are facing right now? Water. On top of that, roads, infrastructure of various types, whether it's electrical, anything. There's a lot of different things like that. So I want to look at how to properly craft a resolution or a couple of different resolutions that we can bring to them that maybe they'll think about that, may do something from our small town that will help other towns throughout the whole state of Washington concerning those types of issues. I'll get with you on that.
Awesome.
And how we word it so that it doesn't look goofy or it's the process.
Great, I appreciate that. Okay, so it's just mainly, informational. There was no action tonight on that.
And guys, if you think of something later and you want to do it, you're welcome.
What was
We can do a meeting.
What was the date again?
It is August 21st at 5 p.m.
Okay.
So we have to have a council meeting before that. And then the way that it does, the resolution will be presented, and then we have to vote, the majority vote wins. And then it has to be printed out. Obviously, the mayor signs it, and then it's submitted that way.
Do we want to set up,
Just one quick
thing, just in case, to have a meeting?
Yeah.
Sure. I'm sorry.
Just these resolutions, it could be something that you oppose that's happening in the state. It could be something that you support, that you want TML to push through. It could be a brand new one, as Mayor Pro Tem Balkum said, or it could be something that, God, why is the state doing this? Let's write a resolution that stop this, or so oppose, support, or take no action if you don't want TML. It's a great opportunity to get to build what they're going to do in the next year. You can do this anytime throughout the whole year. I mean, you're a member. You could submit this to them anytime. But this is their formal time where they start putting together their game plan for the next legislative session of what they're going to do.
So, Councilmember Floyd McLendon actually suggested that maybe we can set a date. What do you think about that? We'll go ahead and set a tentative date for a special meeting for this.
Yeah, that's up to them, to all of you.
It has to be done before
The 21st.
the 21st, which leaves us all of next week. So, guys, tell me what a good day for you is. The only day that I can't do it would be Friday night on the 18th. I have another commitment till 8 o'clock.
What about the 15th? I know it's
Next Tuesday?
That's P&Z. Mayor.
Ma'am? That's P&Z anyways.
You could-
So, next Monday, does that work for everyone? The 14th?
The key is that it has to be written, and the attorney needs to
I know.
look, see. and be ready. And you could meet anytime too, if you have the availability. It doesn't have to be the traditional time.
And we can also meet on a Saturday as well. I mean, this
the
is
19th
like literally like less
19th or
than.
20th I could if we needed to, if
Okay.
that was worst case.
Yes.
When? Well, here's the two dates. What about the 14th or the 17th? That's Monday or Thursday?
Thursday, we'll move in Chelsea into college, 14th.
All right.
That's just not
Floyd, what about with your travel schedule?
Yeah, I'll make it work.
Okay. Then let's do the 14th. If all we're going to talk about is a resolution, 6:30, or do you want to?
Yeah, that's fine. 6:30.
Okay. 6:30 on the 14th for a special just over these resolutions. And Michael, I'll make sure you get it in plenty of time to review it.
6:30?
6:30.
Yes, sir. Okay.
All right.
All right. Let me get back to.
7:25.
So we're done with 7.4, 7.5. Consider approving an ordinance granting to RCH Water Supply Inc. the right, privilege, and non-exclusive franchise to construct, install, extend, remove, replace, abandon, operate, and maintain its facilities within the public right-of-ways of the city of McLendon-Chisholm. All right. Do you want to?
We're going to open up for discussion, or we,
Oh,
would you
I'll
just-
entertain a motion, I'm sorry. I'll entertain a motion approving an ordinance granting, as I just said, RCH Water Supply Inc. the right, privilege, and non-exclusive franchise to consult, or to construct, install, extend, remove, replace, abandon, operate, and maintain its facilities within the public right-of-ways of the city of McLendon-Chisholm, Texas.
I motion to approve an ordinance granting to RCH Water Supply Inc. the right, privilege, and non-exclusive franchise to construct, install, extend, remove, replace, abandon, operate, and maintain its facilities within the public rights-of-ways of the city of McLendon-Chisholm, Texas.
I've got a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, it's now open for discussion. Any discussion? If not, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. That is all of those. That is all of the normal agenda items we've already covered. Sir.
This is a quick, probably should also do this ordinance, and I can draft it up, it's not a problem, for the other water provider in the city as well. So,
Yeah.
oh, good, we already got it, well, never mind.
All right. So we've covered those. We've covered the executive session. Now it's update, discussion, and direction to staff. I don't really have any updates other than we all know what's hot outside. And it doesn't look like it's going to cool down a little bit, but their idea of cooling down isn't much. Huh? Oh yeah, school starts next Thursday. The concerts of all the brand new teenage drivers out there, as well as all the other kiddos that are walking and everything. And again, it's still summer. Be patient. They're probably not going to pay attention to you, which means traffic is still going to get slower and everything, especially with new kids on the road. Everybody trying to get to school. Be patient and be cautious. Brian, you have anything? What?
I did go to the kickoff for the Rockwall County Strategic Committee. Really excited about that. A lot of the elected officials in other cities have a representative. I'm the city of McLendon-Chisholm's representative. I did get names that are interested in being part of the future committee for this. So we're going to kind of wait until after the county has passed who they're going to go with for their facilitator. So pretty much right after September, you're going to start seeing some more activity from McLendon-Chisholm.
Right. I like the idea. Jennifer, you got anything?
We're putting plans into place for our National Night Out, the first Tuesday in October. Looking for some sponsors and some activities and some entertainment, and it's going to be a great night.
And folks, if you're not aware, on National Night Out, believe it or not, there is awards that are given out nationally for cities' participation in National Night Out, and how, I guess for lack of a word, how extravagant they can be when they get the community involved. I work for the town of Sunnyvale, and they actually, their first year that we had it over there, they ranked, I think, in the top 10 in the state, which is very impressive. And it's nice to see that we're going to do it, but please participate. It's really cool when you see all the neighbors coming together to celebrate National Night Out with safety and first responders. But also know our city could potentially, depending on how we put it together, you know, get recognition at the state and national level for putting it together. So just keep that in mind. Conrad, do you have anything?
Yes, sir. Just a quick reminder that we have our citywide photo contest that ends this coming Friday, August 11th at 5 p.m. So the community, it'd be great for them to take a picture of why you love living in the city of McLendon-Chisholm. Use your creativity and submit that picture. There's prizes, cash prizes for the first and second place entries. We have some entries that have been submitted, I mean, now, but we could love to have more from the community.
And Conrad has indeed submitted a selfie himself. Please don't let him win. Somebody did something.
Yeah. So we're excited about it and excited to get as many photos as we can and for that contest.
All right, great. Michael, do you have anything? Okay. Shelley, do you have anything? Okay. Folks, it is 8:48? Yep, 8:48. Show this meeting adjourned. Sarah, I have a question for you.